Welcome to the MFR Coaches podcast, where we talk about how you can create a six-figure MFR practice. I'm your host, Heather Hommel. Not only have I been practicing MFR for 11 years, I'm also a life and business coach, especially for MFR therapists. My goal is for you to understand how to get fully booked, how to talk to your clients, and how to make sure they understand what's possible for them with MFR treatment. I'm here to help you stop under-earning, overworking, and burning out. I'll lend support so you can create the MFR practice you've always wanted. Learn how you can do it too, even if you live in a tiny town, and even if you're just starting out, and even if you've ran your practice for years. Let's go. All right, everybody. Welcome into the MFR Coaches 12-month Business Foundation Program live panelist call. This is the first time I am doing this in this format where I cannot see anyone. So it's a little bit weird for me, and I'm going to get used to it as we go. But I am so excited to welcome you all into the call. The way this is going to work is I'm going to talk about myself for a little bit, but I want to give you a little bit of an agenda. I'm going to introduce myself, then we're going to go over the program. And then at the end of that, that's going to be about 20-25 minutes of me talking. I'm going to bring on my panelists that are here or arriving while I'm talking, and they'll come on the screen. You'll be able to see all of us, and you'll also be able to ask any of us questions. And the way to ask questions will be save your questions till the end after I'm done talking about the program. So you might want to take notes. If questions come up for you, go ahead and write them down, give yourself a little note. And then at any time, if you have a question, you can actually pop it into the Q&A box that's located at the bottom of your screen. So you'll pop it into the Q&A, and then Meg, my assistant, I don't think you can see her right now, but you heard her a minute ago, she will be funneling those questions to me. And then when all of the panelists are here and on the screen, the same thing, we'll either be able to pull you on if you want to come on and ask a question live, or you can just do it through the Q&A. All right, so let's get going. Just gonna raise this up just a bit. All right, so first of all, for those of you who don't know me, my name is Heather Hommel, and I am the MFR coach. I am a John Barnes trained expert level myofascial release therapist. I owned a brick and mortar practice for over 10 years before I became the MFR coach. And during that time, I had a very successful, thriving practice. I loved the hands-on aspect of doing myofascial release. But during the pandemic, as I think has happened for a lot of people, there was a pause in my business, and that gave me time to think about things. And during that time, I decided that I would hire a coach for the very first time to help me work on my MFR business. And what she taught me was so life-changing. I wanted every MFR therapist to have the experience of having a business coach and of knowing that with simple tweaks that you could grow your business to six figures while not having to work any harder. It was amazing for me. So I went to work writing down everything that I knew about how to have an MFR business, and that's how my book was written. So many of you may already have purchased my book. If you haven't, it's available on Amazon. It's called The MFR Coach's Guide to Having Your Own MFR Business. So that's out there in the world. And shortly after this time that I spent with my coach, I decided that I wanted to coach MFR therapists. So I didn't reopen my practice, and I got trained in coaching, and I started to create coaching programs mainly through one-on-one coaching and then through 12-week group coaching programs. And now I have this 12-month foundation program. And my goal is for all MFR therapists to be able to start practices or tweak the practice that you already have so that you can see 20 clients or less and have a six-figure business. So let's dive into what the program is about. Inside this program, like I said before, is where you learn how to get fully booked, seeing 20 clients or less per week, and making $100,000. This is the only program out there that is specially tailored for MFR therapists only. And I just think it's such an important mission for none of us to ever under earn or overwork or risk burning out. It is one of my goals to have MFR to become mainstream and available anywhere and everywhere. I think it's so important that we as therapists make this movement happen, and it starts with us. We are the ones that are going to make MFR mainstream by creating practices where we're not burning out and by creating practices where we become high income earners and we are not dependent on overworking in order to make enough money. I want to ensure that you learn how to build a practice like that and all the skills that are necessary so that you are always fully booked and you are never risking the burnout. So let's talk about some of the things that are included in the program, because that's why you guys are all here. Let's start with one of my favorite things, which is live weekly coaching calls. On these calls, we have them every Tuesday at 10 a.m. Central. That's where the entire group meets in one place. It looks similar to the picture that you see on the screen here. Some people are on camera, some people are off. This is actually a screenshot of an alumni group call that we had a long time ago, but this gives you kind of an idea of how we interact. So you can see everybody on the call, and this is really your opportunity to come and interact with me, interact with your peers and your colleagues, and work on anything that is blocking you from creating the business that you want. And this means anything from something going on in your personal life to some client interaction that you had. You can get coached through anything that's going on in your life or your business. So during these calls, in order to get coached, all you do is you come to the call, you raise your hand, and then we just go through all of the people that have raised their hands, and we answer your questions or we walk you through whatever problem that you're having. All of the calls are recorded and they're uploaded into our private podcast feed that's available to listen to on your smart device, and then also uploaded into the course portal, which I'll talk about in a little bit, so that you can watch the video if you're more of like a visual learner. And then you never miss a thing. So that's the cool thing about this program, is everything that we do is recorded and available for you to watch later. And if for some reason it's not going to be recorded, we would give you plenty of notice so that you could plan to be there. And I don't know about you, but one of my favorite things about being an MFR therapist is going to seminars and interacting with other MFR therapists, because let's just be honest, there's nobody else in the world that's like us. So being in a room full of people that are like me, that are on the same journey, that are healers, that are people that are working in these intense occupations like we work in, dealing with people with chronic and unexplained pain every day, it's really nice to be able to connect with people that have the same experiences that we're having and that get us without us having to explain what fascia is or explain what myofascial release is or explain why what we do could sometimes be heavy or hard, or why we might feel insecure. So these live calls every week for an entire year are a great place for you to connect with your community and with your colleagues, really see what's possible, celebrate wins, and troubleshoot any issues or problems that you have coming up. And then we have the course portal. The course portal is this wild thing that I've created. I am a content creator, a content machine. So I wrote my book in a weekend and I come up with content all of the time. And all of the content lives over in the course portal. And just some of the topics that we cover, this is just a screenshot of some of the content. So inside each one of these little blocks are lots of other trainings. So you can consume the content in there at your leisure. We've got all kinds of things on pricing, money coaching, how to talk to your clients, and then also hundreds of hours of recorded coaching calls. So if you're like me and you get interested in a thing and you want to just consume until you understand, that's how I learn. You could literally listen to me coaching people all the way back into 2021 when I had my first group coaching call. So you can go all the way back and then you can relive the experience of all of the six-figure earners, like where they started and where they're at now, if they're still in coaching, which is a pretty fun way to listen to the coaching You can listen to it in the shower, you can listen to it in the car, whatever you want. You don't have to be watching the videos all the time to get everything out of it. You can listen to a lot of these things on the go, 10 minutes at a time, really whatever your schedule allows for. And we go over everything inside this portal, from everything to building your website, getting online booking, selling MFR, creating your policies. I'm just going to check my notes to make sure I'm not missing. And then learning about your own money and finances related to your business. So we really cover it all inside the portal. And then inside the portal, we've broken things down even more to be easy for you to consume and for you to create the foundations for your business. And these apply to you if you're brand new to MFR and creating a business, and also if you've had a business for years. We've had many therapists who've been in business for years. They're very successful. They come into the program and they clean up their business using these 90-day foundations. They can quickly spot and see where they can do things differently to get a different result in their business and make more money, seeing less clients. It's not just about raising rates. It's really about like talking about and selling MFR and making sure that you have really clean and clear policies. All of that lives inside the 90-day foundations. And it's a great place to start if you're brand new to coaching. If you've taken a break from coaching and you're coming back, the 90-day foundations is a great place for you to get going again and just making sure you haven't missed anything. If you've got that business that's already started, where can I improve this business to make it even better, make it feel better, make it juicier, make me love it even longer so that I can stay in this business forever. So the 90-day foundations is where you create the foundations for that six-figure business so that every other decision you make just continues to build a stronger and stronger and stronger business. We've got the 7 modules inside here, and you can follow it in order or you can do it out of order. There's no real doing it right inside this program. It's a lot like myofascial release, where once you have the principles and you know what you want to do, you just start where you want to start and create from there. So it's quite flexible. You should be able to finish the 90-day foundations in about 12 weeks, kind of working about an hour a week on it. This will help you speed through the process of becoming fully booked, working out any kind of areas in your business where things aren't working or going the way that you want them to. So it will help you to get fully booked. All right. And then I also created a 300-page workbook as a supplement to the course. She looks like this. When you enroll in the program, I will actually mail you this. And right now I'm also mailing you all out t-shirts because we just got some back in stock. But this is a really good and friendly guide. If you're a visual learner and you like to write things down, I've made space in here for you to take notes, to be able to read what I'm also talking about inside in the videos. So you can follow along your journey that way, which is great. The book is fully colored. I'm going to ship it right to your house. And then if you're like me and you want to get started right away and you don't want to wait for the book to come to you, there's also access to a digital copy inside the course portal. So you can download whatever you want. If you run out of pages to write on, you can always continually print more pages. It's pretty great. All right. Let's see here. And then we are always working to add things to the program. So every month we have pop-ups. We've had pop-ups where you learn how to create business cards, you learn how to do social media, you learn how to set business goals. And then I think we have coming up in February, my CFO is coming in to talk about money mindset coaching. We've had guest coaches, all kinds of things in the program. We're continually adding to it and creating content. So even if you've been through coaching before, there's always something new coming up in the program for you to consume. So it's never becoming like this evergreen program with nothing new, no new ideas. We're always coming up with ways to improve your experience and to also add things that are missing. So we're always coming up with things. You also get access to a private and exclusive Facebook group. And this is where you get invited to be a member of our community. And right now, the community lives on Facebook. In the future, we might move it to a different platform, but right now it's living in Facebook. And it's one of the really valuable aspects of this program because you can get coaching literally 24 hours a day, either from me or my co-host, Meg Gluckman, who I'm going to introduce you to later, or another member of the community. We're there to support you all the time. Coaches are always a tag away. So it's not like you go and you learn something and you have a question and then you wait a week for live coaching to get it answered. You can get it answered right away. Our goal is always to respond to questions or comments within 24 hours, but likely you will get a response much sooner. So we're constantly in the community. It's also a place where you can celebrate your wins. And celebrating wins and being able to talk about what's really going on when things are going really good, and then also to be able to talk about things when they're not going good is very important and very valuable. It helps you not stay stuck in situations that don't feel good. When we think about client interactions or not being fully booked or not being able to raise the rate how you want to, or not being able to overcome a client objection, you get to bring that to the Facebook group and have other people give you their experience and also get coached on it. So we can really figure out what is the mind block here? What's happening? What are you thinking that's creating the result that you currently have? So we can help you walk through that and change your result. It's also a group where we talk about things that you normally wouldn't talk about anywhere else, because it's one thing to be in an environment with friends and talk about things and have friends agree with us and have friends pile on and be like, yeah, this sucks. This is never getting better, right? Inside this group, we don't do that. We're supportive, but we don't pile on. We don't whine. We don't complain. We solve problems. We make decisions. We clean things up and we move forward. But we do it while processing feelings and emotions in our bodies so that we can get through what we need to get through to make the next best decision. And that just keeps your business moving. It's that moving and aeration of your business that keeps your business strong and keeps you from getting stuck in a cycle of, not making decisions or hiding, staying stuck, not starting altogether, or deciding to close your business because things aren't going how you want them to go. So the community is very important. We help you really get to the root cause of whatever issue is happening with your business so that you can get through it. Very similar to an MFR treatment, right? All right. And then we've also built a really cool tool and feature in the program called weekly reports. Right now, we send out an email every Sunday, and it's just a recap of the week. We like to share wins that we've received from people in the community. And then we also have a link for you to report your weekly revenue. And on the weekly revenue, you're going to give us the information for how many packages you've sold, how many clients you've seen that week, anything you're struggling on. And when you do this, the software counts every submission that you make, and then it sends you an email and spits out like how much revenue you've reported, how many clients you've seen. And it really helps you to see that you're doing better than you think you're doing. There's a lot of times we forget, like, oh, I just almost had a $10,000 month. I didn't even know. I hear that all the time reported in the Facebook group. People are like, I just had a $10,000 month. I didn't even know I was that close, because we get just stuck in the minutia of our jobs and we forget to celebrate along the way. So tracking your progress is really, really important. We also celebrate milestones such as, making enough income to pay back your coaching investment. When you hit 10K, you unlock the ability to come to a special 10K only phone call, like a Zoom call with us. And then when you hit 100K, we have a celebration for that too. So it's really cool to be able to unlock these different levels. And I think we also have a thing. Oh yeah, when you complete your 90-day foundations, you also unlock your ability to be listed on my network, which gives you even more exposure on the internet to your business, to your website, and all of that. So that's also a really cool and fun feature that you unlock finishing the 90-day foundations. and then also tracking your revenue. Let me see if I missed anything. Oh, one share I wanted to give to you because we're tracking revenue. I just checked the numbers today. We are over $1.6 million in sales just between the 82 active members that we have in coaching right now. That's since August. It's wild. So I estimate that we will likely hit $4 million in sales. That's your sales of MFR therapists that are in this coaching program alone. Think about that for a minute. $1.6 million in sales. And this is just from the people that have reported. There's a lot of people that don't fill out the reports. Imagine if everybody was filling out the reports every week and we had an even bigger number. It really blows my mind the amount of clients that are being served by MFR therapists in this group and the amount of money and transactions that is taking place just by this handful of people. And by the way, during this launch right now, for you guys that are all here and getting ready to sign up for this program, it's a really special time in this program. We're going to hit 100 members in coaching at the same time. This has been a goal of mine for a long time since I started coaching. And one of those things that seemed, oh, I might cry, really far away, but is now about to happen. And I share that with you guys because it's exciting to get 100 clients for me to help to create 100 six-figure MFR business owners. And then also when you think about how many clients each one of you that is able to create a successful practice is helping. Like, what is the mark? What is the impact that we're making on the world when you have a very successful practice that isn't just something that you kind of sort of do, but you're not sure how you're doing it? When we make it very purposeful and you help all these people on purpose, it's wild. So $1.6 million in sales just since we started tracking in August. I think that's amazing and something to really celebrate. All right, let's talk about some of the other special things that you get from being in the program. I've had a special relationship with Mark Barnes. He runs the MFR directory. He's John Barnes's son. I think most of you guys know that, but just in case, that's who he is. And he has offered to give everyone that's a member of my program $50 off for new or renewing memberships, which is pretty awesome. If you take nothing else away from being on this call with me, please go and get on the directory. Even if you have no intention of ever working with me, please put yourself on the directory. It helps me, it helps your other colleagues find you and refer to you. And it is worth every single penny. So please just go and do it. But when you join my program, you do get that special discount for the $50 off, and that's on new or renewing membership. So that's fun. And I'm constantly trying to find ways to get you guys other special access to things. And there's more things in the program that you have access to, but you will have to join to find out. The most important and my favorite thing about this whole program is that you become a member of the best community in the world of MFR therapists, and these people will become your friends for life. It's like being at a seminar every week. We don't have to sit in any chairs, right? You can just sit at your kitchen table. Here are some of the goofballs that have sent pictures into me while they were meeting at seminars. This is truly the best community of MFR therapists doing amazing work to move our profession forward, to change the face of our industry. When you're a member in this community, you will become friends for life. You will have instant connections when you go to seminars because of just the numbers of people that are now involved. And you'll love seeing everybody's faces on the calls and hearing their stories while they get coached, relating to them as peers, and celebrating them as they have wins and as they celebrate you as you have wins too. There's really nowhere else where these relationships can be found and where you can interact with colleagues in the MFR profession this often at this level. It's wild. So if you think going to seminars is fun to see people, just imagine spending an hour every week with some of your favorite people, listening to all the things that are going on in their business, getting advice, getting information, taking that and just putting it right into practice in your own practice. So you get the time with them on the live calls, and then you get 24-hour-a-day support in the Facebook group, again, from either Meg or I, we're a tag away, or the people that you see on the screen here. Let's do a quick recap of what you get when you join. So when you join, remember, this is a 12-month program. So you get weekly live coaching calls with the replays. You get the 90-day foundations course, which is a course inside the course. You get the private Facebook group, library of trainings, hundreds of recorded coaching calls, the monthly pop-up trainings on special topics, that thick and juicy workbook, and the weekly revenue reports with the tracking. And then you also get the special members only discounts. But let's talk about what's even more important, and that's results. So one of the reasons why I do the revenue tracking and why we do reporting is because I want to have data-backed results and real life examples about the success stories and the therapists that come through my programs. So not only will you have monetary, is that a word? Results. You're going to increase your confidence in your skill level, no matter what skill level that is. So even if you're a novice MFR therapist, I believe you can get fully booked and sell MFR only. From this confidence, you're going to make decisions quickly about your rate, and that's going to help you make more money. When you have more money, you're going to have more freedom. And when you have freedom, you're going to make different choices, and you're also going to have more fun in your life outside of your business. When you have more time because you aren't frantically trying to solve for problems or create something that isn't working, you're going to spend more time with your family and on hobbies and on yourself. You're going to get more self-care. You're going to dream bigger than you ever imagined. Creating a six-figure business might be your first goal, but what else will you create from who you become in the program? That's going to be endless. Like, the possibilities with that are endless for you. So in a few moments, I'm going to introduce you to my panel of guests. These are all members inside my 12-month coaching program. Some of them are in my advanced selling mastermind. You get to ask them about their results, about why they joined the program, why they stayed in, why they're in it, all the things. But before you meet the panel guests, let's talk about some other things. Let's talk about the cost of joining the program so that you know everything. The program is $3,000 for the 12 months. When you join now until February 7th, you'll be invited to attend 2 additional live VIP calls that will only be for people that join during this round of coaching. These VIP bonus calls are going to help orient you to how things work inside the program and just give you kind of a gentle entry into how things work. So we will get on the Zoom call. It'll be you and the other members that join during this round. We're going to share screens. We're going to join the Facebook group all together. We're going to figure out how to get into the private podcast all together. I'm going to be shipping out your workbooks to you. It's going to be really fun, and it'll be a nice way to introduce you to how coaching works. And I don't know if some of you have seen people wearing the MFR Coaches t-shirts. You're going to get one of those in the mail too, which is super fun since I just got those back in stock and I have all the sizes. Let's go over some of the facts, some of the frequently asked questions. One frequently asked question is this: I'm brand new to MFR. Can I join your program? The answer is yes, you can. Now, I think it will be harder for you to raise your rate and do some things and go MFR only if you've only had one seminar. So my best advice is, if you are deciding that you are an MFR only therapist and that is your plan, there's no benefit to waiting to join coaching, and there's also no benefit to waiting to get more seminars taken. So make sure, if you're making that decision, know that it's going to feel hard, but also know that the sooner you take 3 or 4 seminars, the more everything will make sense. So just make sure you have a plan of action for that. One of the other frequently asked questions is, what time are the calls? The calls are always at 10 a.m. Central on Tuesdays. They're an hour long. You'll get a Zoom link for it. You'll get an email reminder for it. And then our other calls, our bonus calls and our pop-ups kind of vary, but they're always posted in the Facebook group. They're pinned at the top, and you'll always know well ahead of time when we have a guest coach coming in or we have anything extra going on. Third question: I've had my business for years. is this for me? Absolutely. Some of my favorite clients are people who were wondering if this was for them. They've been in business for 20 years. Maybe they are, heavily involved in assisting at seminars and, they have a very successful practice, but they're really working their asses off. So what ends up happening is you come to coaching and you learn how to slow everything down, but not lose any money and actually end up making more money. So that's a fun result of working with me if you've had your business for years. So nothing about this is working harder to create the six figures. It's about making decisions on purpose and really understanding why you're doing the things you're doing, setting your policies, all of those things to make your business better. And so that you have more of a life outside of your business. Like right now, if you're thinking going to seminars is like the be all end all for your whole life, that's your vacation, that's your leisure time, all of those things. Like imagine if that's just work for you now. Like that's just part of work and it gets to be that fun, but you have this whole life outside of MFR too. That's what I want for you. I also want you to go to seminars and have fun there too, though, duh, because they're fabulous. One of the other questions is, I'm already fully booked. Is this for me? Yes, even if you're fully booked, likely there are some things that have maybe gone unnoticed while you've created your practice policies, boundaries, people pleasing, some things that could be cleaned up in your business quite rapidly so that you make sure you aren't risking burnout and make sure that you are serving clients at a really high level, making sure that you have automation set up, making sure that your business is just more fluid and ease. So make sure that fully booked for you is 20 clients or less and you're making six figures. Like really ask yourself these questions. Can I do this if I'm still working a full-time job or I haven't even opened a practice yet? Absolutely. And you'll see in a few minutes when I introduce you to the panel guests, my client, Chris Domingo, she's here. She's going to be on in a few minutes. She's still working. So you can ask her any questions about what it's like to have both an MFR practice and be working in a hospital and see how that's going for her. We've had people leave their jobs, like Chris, we have people that stay at their jobs, and I think Chris is like up to making over 8K a month in her side MFR business. So yes, you can do both. I'm never going to make you leave your job in order for you to be successful in my program. You get to do what you want to do. You get to make this how you want to make it. And I just want to guide you and show you what's possible for you when you make certain decisions and have certain policies in place so that you can enjoy whatever decision that you make even better. Can I do this if I don't plan to leave my job? I think I already answered that. Did I skip one? Can I do this? Oh yeah. So I just answered that. Can I do this if I'm still working at a job or I haven't even opened? So let's address like you haven't opened a practice. This is absolutely the best program to start your practice in. And I've actually helped many people start from scratch. I helped someone leave their job and start their business. And it's my client, Megan. Do I have that written down? Because I want to get the details. Let me see. Sorry, I lost my train of thought for a second. Oh, here's Megan's story. Okay, so Megan is a client of mine. She went through 6 months of coaching last year, and she opened her practice and left her full-time high-level PT job at a hospital the same month. 2 months later, she had a 26K month, and then she made over 86K her first 6 months in business. So yes, you can definitely be like her and not have even opened a practice yet. Get coaching for a few months for however long it takes for you to get started and open to that amount of success. It is definitely possible. We have people doing it all of the time and not just Megan. And you don't also have to have those numbers in order to be successful. You can open your practice to fully booked. I will help you do that. All right. And if I missed any questions, like again, we will go over these. It's time to join my 12-month coaching program. Enrollment is open from January 31st through February 7th. When you join during this period, you'll be invited to my special bonus workshop where you'll learn how to become an expert in MFR before you ever reach expert status. This training alone is worth your entire investment in coaching. So join now. To enroll, go to www.themfrcoach.com/coaching. Make sure you enroll before midnight on February 7th so you don't miss out. Okay, so now let's get ready to meet our panelists and open up the call for questions. All right, so panelists, if you all would raise your hands for me so I can find you easily. And I'm going to be bringing you on, so your cameras will be showing, just to give you heads up. Looks like I need to do I have everybody? Okay, we've got everybody, yay. Why don't you all, let me think, I need to turn off my spotlight, I think. Hang on one sec.
I did that, Heather.
Oh, that's why you're my favorite. Okay. Meg, do you want to come on camera too? And let's introduce you as the co-coach really quick, and then we'll introduce the panelists. All right. Hey, surprise. This is Gluckman. Meg, you want to say something? She's the co-host co-host. She's the co-coach in the program.
Hi, y'all. Yes, I'm thrilled to be here. I coach some weeks in our live coaching calls on Tuesdays, and I'm in the Facebook group a whole bunch. I am not an MFR therapist, but I love all y'all MFR therapists, and I'm thrilled to get to coach and support y'all in growing your businesses.
Yes, thank you for being here. Meg is a great coach. She's been with me pretty much this entire time, so. All right. So welcome in, panelists. Thank you all for being here. I think what we'll do is we'll just go around and I'll have you do a quick introduction of, yourself, your business, and, where you were before you started coaching and what's kind of happened, but try to keep it, mildly short. We'll start with Chris Domingo.
I was afraid you were going to pick me first. So what am I supposed to say? Who I am, what my business is.
Yeah, just kind of a little bit what brought you to coaching, whatever. You can wing it.
Okay. Hi, everyone. My name is Chris Domingo. I am the CEO and owner and janitor and everything for Shift Mind, Body, Spirit. My myofascial release practice. I'm in Berkeley, California. I do it part-time, so about 2 days a week, and I am still working in my hospital job. Does that answer everything? Okay.
Awesome. Okay, Leslie.
Hey, everybody. I'm Leslie Muller. I'm in Richmond, Virginia area. My practice is resonance myofascial release. And I joined coaching in 22, I believe. And honestly, I would not have a practice if it wasn't for coaching. I was going nowhere. And now I can say I have a practice that I have built in the way that I want it. And there's still so much more to do, but I was thinking about that and in this call, and that's been it. I've been able to craft it in the way I want it. There's not a one size fits all for coaching, but all right, we're supposed to keep this short. So did I catch everything for now?
I think that's good.
All right.
I think that's good.
Good to be here.
Yeah, thanks for coming. Tracy.
Hello, everybody. I am Tracy Hobby. I am located in North Purcellville, Virginia, and the owner of, what's the name of my practice? Touch of Wellness Myofascial Release, massage therapist, myofascial release therapist. When I joined coaching, before I joined coaching, I had already established myself as a MFR practitioner, but I moved to a new area, and I had Heather's book. I listened to all her podcasts. I knew everything that I needed to do, get a website, do this, do that. And I was just stuck and frozen in fear. And I knew that I needed coaching. And once I did, I just got everything into place. It was just exactly what I needed to get my website done and figure out all the things that I needed to do in order to have a very successful practice now, which I wouldn't have if I hadn't joined coaching this quickly, at least. And I think that's it for now.
Perfect. Thanks, Tracy. Thanks for being here. We're going to go to Kristen Kunzelman next.
Hi, it's still morning here. Good morning.
Good morning.
I am the owner of Pacific Myofascial Release, which is in the San Francisco Bay Area. I'm across the bridge from Chris Domingo. I do MFR only, and I also created the MFR brochures that help therapists get new clients and enrich the journey of their current clients. So I opened in May of 2022, and I was from an entirely different field. I was a music band director and for middle school and high school. And I didn't know who John Barnes was. Heather likes to say that I bought her book before I ever knew who John was. And so I have a lot of friends and a lot of contacts. So I kind of filled up at the beginning, not full, but had clients. And then after that had run its course, I had a week with 2 people and I freaked out. And I was like, how am I going to make any money if I don't have any clients? I was like, maybe I should join coaching. And I realized a couple months ago, like, it's not really a foreign concept for me because of my music background. And it's like coaching is kind of like private lessons, right? If you're going to learn piano, you get a private lesson teacher, learn piano. And so I was like, well, we're just learning how to do MFR business from her. And it's great. So my concerns before it were like, am I going to make my money back? And is it just going to be another version of the podcast? And yes, no brainer, you make your money back. And it's not the podcast. It's like so much more. So, which I think you did an amazing job talking about, Heather, earlier in this. So it's helped me so much. My first year, I made 50K on a partial year. And then last year I made 120K in 1 year. And I think without coaching, I would probably have gotten to like 80 or 90 after a couple years. And fully credit like being in the coaching program to all the just the financial success, but like everything else that you're going to hear about as we keep talking. So I probably overtalked.
So thanks so much for sharing. Yeah. So I love it. I love all of your stories. Fun for me. All right. Genevieve.
Hi, I'm Genevieve Dominguez, and I have a business called Myofascial Release by Genevieve. I am the CEO and owner of the business, and I practice in Sonora, California, which is real close to Yosemite. And I joined coaching back and forth. I was considering it, but I wasn't sure. I had been taking classes since 2016, and I just kept taking more classes and more classes and more classes and kept saying, I want to open my business. And I just never did. And I bought the book, the coaching book, and I was like, okay. And I started listening to the podcast. And then I kept seeing everybody in shirts that said the MFR coach. And I'm like, what? There's private coaching, or there's coaching for, online. And so I finally joined and lovingly guided into opening my practice. And I no longer work at my hospital job. And I love the coaching because I'm finding my own way. But with the amazing group here to support me in all respects. And I never thought that was possible. So like, I'm literally living my dream to do this. And that's awesome. So
Love it. Thanks for sharing.
Hey,
Thanks for
coach.
being here. Deidre, you want to introduce yourself?
Hello, I'm Deidre Buckingham. I'm the owner of the Mending Tree MFR here in Madison, Wisconsin. How did I find Heather? How did I come to this? I'm what I call long in the tooth massage therapist. This is my 28th year. In April will be 28 years that I've been doing body work. And left my hospital job 2 years ago as a PTA that I did for 17 years. And through all this, I've always had some sort of massage, myofascial release therapy practice. And then I found coaching, and it's not that I wasn't making money, but I was working really hard to make the money that I was making, and started coaching. I think this is my 3rd round of coaching. So I did 2 3-month, and then I started the 12-month program in the mastermind. And I would say within 2 months of the first program and raising my rates, I started immediately making more money and refining how many people I was seeing. The first year I made $105,000, and then this year I made 110,000. Working way less, just enjoying my life way more freedom. Just really, I think what the coaching program teaches you is how to manage your mind and craft your life and craft your business to suit you. And you're not gonna really get that from the book or the podcast. And that you don't get the support like you do inside the container. So that's what I think, and that's me.
I love it. Welcome, welcome. All right, so I just want to remind everybody that's watching to really get what you came for out of being here live, besides the code that you were given, right? Like, ask us questions, and you can do that. I think, Meg, do we want people to use the Q&A box, right? So there's a box along the bottom, Q&A. Please post your question in there. And then we will answer it specifically. If you want to come on live so that we can see you and you can interact with us, raise your hand and we'll bring you on live to ask us a question. You can ask me anything and you can ask the panelists, but to get us going, I think I want to ask a question, and you guys can decide who wants to answer this, but what was what were you thinking that got you to sign up for coaching? Like what was the objection you were having, and then how were you able to overcome that and sign up for coaching? Go ahead, Genevieve. You guys can just unmute too.
So I was a physical therapist assistant. I guess I always am, but I just was not happy in my job, and I kept wanting to open up my business. And just one more thing happened at work that I was like, I can't do this anymore. I need to follow my dream. What's the point of, just stop talking about it and make some action. And I signed up, and I'm so happy I did, because you had some extra calls in December of 2022. And then I just went from there, and it was finally like just one more thing, one more straw. And yeah, and I still didn't open up officially until April, because I was trying to figure it all out. And what you taught me is it doesn't have to be perfect. Get out there and do it. And then once I did, I was like, what was I waiting for? So yeah, I just hope that somebody sees this and goes, take some massive action and just do it. You will not regret it. So
Thanks, Genevieve. Do you think if you didn't join, would you still, like, maybe you would have created your business, but would you still be waiting to start your business? Or do you have any kind of sense about what you'd be doing now if you hadn't
probably
taken?
wait.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it was like meant to be, because I opened up my business. I had some loss. My father-in-law passed away. We had to put our dog down, and, allowing me to have the support of you and the rest of the amazing people that are in coaching. It's like, you can get through this, and then life is going to life, and you are going to just keep moving forward, even if your footsteps are an inch or a mile. It's just do it. And watching everybody succeed in this is like so motivating and so much fun. And we cheer each other on no matter what level you're at. There is no dumb question. It's like, come on, we lovingly encourage everybody. Like, oh, you got this, let's go. And I love that. I freaking love that. So it's more than I could have hoped for. Seriously. I've done 3 rounds, and like after the first round, Chris Domingo, I'll never forget this. We were in a class, and I'm like, well, I'm not sure. The second round, she's like, what are you doing? Let's go. Oh my God, you're right. What am I thinking? So I just love the way she said it, with absolute love. Just get your butt moving, girl, and don't miss out on what is possible. So
I love that. We love Chris Domingo. It's so
yes.
fun.
Thanks, Chris.
Okay, we have a question here. Meg, this one's for me, right? Or this one's for us, right?
Yes, please.
Okay. So Martha writes, hi, what was the mindset shift, if any, that helped you commit to actively participating in the program? How did you feel supported by the group to do so? Who would like to answer that? Go ahead, Leslie.
I think I can answer it. So I knew about Heather for a while before I ever joined coaching. And I was so stuck in my head that like I couldn't afford it that I never even, this is back when she had calls, like 15-minute calls. I never even called her to ask what the price was. And like I saw Rob Crampton with her book and he's like, I'm doing coaching with her. It's great. And I was like, yeah, I just don't, I'm just like, I'm too scared. I can't do it. And he's anyhow. So, but I wanted it so badly because it was not working, me trying to build my own practice. And I recognized that I had to do, for me, it wasn't just here's a task, do it. That wasn't going to work. I needed to do mindset work on my thoughts and beliefs. I knew enough about that to know that's what I needed. She did a Raise Your Rate boot camp, like 2 years ago in 22, and that's kind of how I vetted her. And so during that, I was like, okay, yes, this is someone I want to work with. And it was it had to do with the way she interacted with us, but I could tell I was going to get the help, the direction or the clarity that I needed, which was looking at my own thoughts or cleaning up my thoughts, because I didn't have any belief that I could do this. I didn't believe it was for me. I didn't believe I could afford it. I didn't believe that I could be successful, but I wanted it so desperately. Like all I want to do is be an MFR therapist. Like I finally got clear on that. That's all I wanted to do. I opened up my practice in 21 and nothing happens. I mean, a little bit, but because I can't put myself out there. But there was a part of me that must have believed a little bit I could do it, because it was kind of like, I don't know, I just trusted Heather enough and joined coaching. And then we had access to the online material before the call started. And that was really fantastic. And there's so much more now. That was super helpful. And I was totally supported by the group. And this is when they were 3 months, and the first, I did 3 rounds. It's not a year, like it wasn't a year like it is now. And I was a basket case for nearly the first like 3 months of it. Totally did feel supported by Heather and the group, and didn't feel shamed by anyone for my basket caseness, though I had to process those feelings and get over them. And I actually did that often in group coaching. So I mean, if they could support me when I didn't believe in myself and was still thought everybody else can do this, but I can't do this. I mean, to the point that I like physical reactions in my body, and I was just like so scared of everything. So I was very much heard and very much listened to, but it was not a bitch fest. It wasn't an agreeing with me about my limitations. Let me put it that way. And then even the coaching, I've often called it verbal MFR, like things when I would get on a call and admit this is what's happening. It was so hard for me to admit it. And just the coaching with Heather, things started to shift. And I was like, oh my gosh, this is verbal MFR. Then I'd go to a seminar, it would all shift in my body too. And that's it in a nutshell. I'm sure someone else can give a good answer.
Yeah, does anyone else? I can read the question again for you all. It's what was the mindset shift, if any, that helped you commit to actively participating in the program? And how did you feel supported by the group to do so? You guys can just unmute if you want to answer that.
I'll say a quick thing that I want to do it my way kind of person, and I can figure a lot out on my own kind of person. And the program is awesome because it's like Leslie was saying, you do your work on yourself, because we all have stuff and the stuff like comes out, when you're running your own business, whatever it is that is your thing comes out, and you get to choose how and when to work on it. Heather doesn't tell you what to do. And so the thought work and choosing to do, I don't know exactly how the question was worded, but it's literally at the pace you want to do it. And sometimes, people might feel guarded, or I don't want to get into this or whatever, but you start seeing all these other people working through their things, and they're so open, and it's such a supportive environment. You're like, yes, I see that in myself, or I have felt that same struggle, or that same, whatever it is in our internal selves. And you know, it's like it turns it from being this daunting task into like, I want to get through this and get on the other side. And you see other therapists do that, you know. And I remember, you know, hearing Tracy's podcast before I'd even opened my business. I was like, oh my God, that woman's so amazing. She's working through all these things and she's moved across the country and I want to be like her, you know. And then you get to know everybody. We're all just like normal people and we're all doing our things and we still have stuff. So to answer the question, you can kind of work on it at your own pace and in your own way. No one tells you what to do, but it's like these light bulbs go off and your thought process just starts to shift because of everything you're just consuming and taking in. And it's really cool. You get to be more yourself. You don't join this program and become like anyone else. It's like all the best things that you want to achieve yourself and that others see in you often before you see in yourself, those all come out and you have this awesome business that you love and it's yours and it's not someone else's. It's not Heather's. It's not someone other therapist. It's really cool. It's a really organic and really supportive and it's whatever you want it to be.
I love that. Does anyone else want to answer that? Like how, like what your mindset set, oh my gosh, blah, 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 what your mindset shift was that helped you commit to participating in the group? Did anyone have any struggles with deciding to like actively participate? Because we have a lot of people that come that maybe aren't as active as other people. I don't know if that's like a mindset. It's interesting. I should do a podcast on that. Like, what does it take in order to feel safe to participate in the group? Does it take a lot of strength or is the energy of the group already supportive, I guess?
Well, you know, something that came to mind was like, it's kind of like being in a seminar, you know, it's like everybody is working through their stuff a lot of times and you see people on stage, you know, going through their healing process and stuff. So it kind of gives you self-permission to do that as well. So I kind of see that we're all supportive of each other. We're all cheering each other on during that same time. You know, it's almost like if they can do it, I can do it too. So, you know, you can get into something that comes up in coaching you into this like compare and despair, like, oh, why am I not at fully booked and this person's at fully booked? You know, you have that as well. But Heather helps us through that mind process as well. But we're all cheering each other on. There's a Facebook group where we're constantly like, you know, you can ask questions and not only are the coaches, Megan, Heather going to answer, but like, you know, everybody in the group is allowed to come on and answer as well. And everybody's just very supportive as far as that goes. So I think it just sort of organically sort of shifts into that direction. So I could say if like you're on the fence because, you know, you're worried about maybe, you know, being vulnerable, you know, that you are going to be okay. You're going to be held. We're all going to be there to support you and to love you and to care for you. We're not going to jump into the river of misery with you and like, you know, swim around and be like, yeah, we should all like, you know, be miserable right here. We're going to help you out. And so you don't have to stay in your drama. You don't have to stay in the misery or the confusion, you know, surrounding your business or what's going on. It really helps you to kind of get through that a lot faster. So, yeah.
Great answer. So speaking of vulnerability, I think this is probably a question people have that aren't asking it. So I'll ask it. But what is it like to be vulnerable in this group? Because I mean, we talk about money, we talk about, you know, our client interactions, the things clients say, and some of it can be, you know, kind of emotional. What would you say it's like to bring those kinds of things to coaching, to a live call where there's like 40 or 50 or 60 people, you know, with their eyes staring back at you, and you're talking about an uncomfortable client interaction, or you're getting really emotional or feeling a lot of feelings. What's that been like, the ability to do that? Chris Domingo, you want to share? Then I'll go to you, Genevieve.
Why? Because I've cried so much on coaching calls. So the group is, well, number one, the first thing I'd recommend is you just put your thing on speaker. So you're just looking at Heather and not everybody else in the group as you're sharing. But it's such a safe space, and everybody there is so supportive. And honestly, like, I've listened to people tell their story and be vulnerable, and I've started crying because it just resonates so much with what I'm going through. So it's huge, like, just getting the support of you and saying how you feel. And you've actually helped us work through, we're feeling a feeling, and we'll actually work through it, like sitting there and just like John, right? In the seminars, like, if you're working through your stuff up there and feeling it, and everybody there is holding you and is just there to support you, and you get something out of everybody sharing. So I'm not sure if that answered your question, but
Yeah, I think that's great. Genevieve, did you have something you wanted to add too? Thanks, Chris.
Really similar, like Chris said, like it's the next best thing to a seminar because you've got this community you can reach out to. Because I'm in the foothills of the Sierra Nevadas. I'm like far away from everybody. You get off the freeway and it's a good 45 minutes to where I live. Like, and there's nothing. And opening up my business, I kind of felt like a little isolated. And then the coaching just really helps. And then, because I was going to classes for fun and reconnection and all of it. And then now I can take that and make my business more successful because I have the constant communication with everybody and the coaching. And I just have to ask, the buffalo, what does anybody else wonder what the buffalo is and what does it mean to you? Because I've always wondered, and I don't remember if you ever answered. So anyways.
Yes, I mean, you can ask me anything. Yes,
Yeah.
so this is the bison because we don't have
Oh.
buffalo in America, apparently. I
Oh.
learned that from my son. My son took this picture when we were on a visit to Yellowstone. We went to Montana State University, which is where he ended up going to college, but he is a photographer and a nature lover, and he took this picture. So then I had it blown up because it reminds me of him. And now he's off at
Okay.
college, so now I kind of like feel like I'm with him all the time when I see that.
I've always wanted to ask.
Yeah.
It's beautiful, and I'm like, what does that mean to her? What is that meaning? That's amazing.
And it's also like very powerful,
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool. Okay.
Yeah. Thanks
Sorry
for
to
asking.
go off on a tangent.
No problem. Kristen.
I was going to add something kind of in response to the last two questions, like the process of like feeling safe to do all of this. One thing that's been very cool in coaching that I think leads to that is that it's okay to want to do these things. It's okay to want to have your own business and to fill up and to make money and to be a good therapist and a good business owner. And like, there's a lot of places where we may not feel like that's safe. And so I feel like it's okay. Like Heather's helped me to see, like, it's okay to dream bigger than what I thought before. And so that kind of wakes that up and you learn, oh, I might want something and that's really scary. And then, you have your thing for it. And it's, once you feel like it's okay to want these things, then sometimes there's a shift that happens like, okay, well, now if I want to do this thing, how do I get there? And there's a process of like, if you ask for like you figure out what the problem is, or sometimes you don't know what the problem is and you just come to coaching and have a concept and she helps you figure out the problem you didn't even know was there. And you get the results, it's like, it's okay to want things and it's okay to work for them and it's okay to be successful in getting them. And that can be a really scary process for a lot of people, if not all people. And again, that's where it's very cool to see people ahead of you and what they've achieved in their own practice and how they've gotten there. And you're like, oh yeah, I remember that coaching they got. And wow, they're so far past that now. And on the flip side, I see people starting their business. I'm like, I remember that. I remember when I was in that exact spot working through that same thing. And you just feel compassion for the thing that they're going through. And it really kind of helps you see like how far you've come, which just increases your confidence to keep doing more. And it's this really magical thing you've created, Heather, of just this circle that goes on and we all keep spiraling up and new people join in. And it's just great.
Thank you.
Can I
I
answer
was
the
going to say
vulnerability?
too, sorry, Leslie, and then
Oh,
I'll
I'm
go to
sorry.
you. I was going to say like one of the, I just remember driving to my office every day, and like I would get halfway there and I would have this like sense of loneliness come over me and just long for the connection with other therapists. And the only way I knew how to get that was to go to seminars. So I was going to seminars all the time to just get that hit of belonging, that hit of connection, that, that colleagueship, whatever you want to call it. And so by creating this program, like that is one of the things that I'm the most proud of about. I mean, there's lots of things I'm proud about this program, but it's the connections that everybody has been able to make and how frequently we are in contact with each other, and how even just sometimes you wouldn't think like over a Zoom screen like this or over a recorded video or listening to recorded audio would be as powerful as it is, but it's almost as good as being in person, and to be able to watch people's journeys like from start to finish, or wherever they've ended up in coaching, to be able to go back and see the most successful people in the program when they weren't like when they weren't feeling successful, or when they were really feeling in the shit about whatever it was that was going on, like to then see them work through that and then see the next person get stuck in that same little thing that was happening, and just to normalize how tough it is to build a business and how we don't learn these business skills anywhere else. Like, it's even if you're a business major, you're not really learning how to run a business. And to have access to these skills, and most of us are females doing this. The world is really built to support male run businesses, and I feel like having the opportunity to support females, yes, males join and they're welcome to join, and they do great too, but really having this be female centered and supportive in a way where we can all share these big goals and be like, yeah, I want to make $100,000, I want to make $200,000, like whatever it is, and for it to be normalized. Because I think for some people on the outside that haven't come into the community, haven't been in coaching, that number seems wild, and it also seems unsafe, and it also seems like it's for other people. And so I think when we have these conversations and we normalize how relevant it is for us to want those things, and for us to be able to create that, and that we can do it with just a little bit of help and support, and we can do it much quicker than we think that is possible. So, and without having to work harder, we're just making more purposeful decisions. So, little tangent. Okay, Leslie, what did you have to say?
Just real quick to answer the vulnerability question. I don't know why I really need to say this, but what it's like to be vulnerable in the group. And so the honest answer for me is, in the beginning, is really hard and really uncomfortable. And what I found, so it's not easy, but what I found was it was always worth it. And I always got to the other side of something, and it helped me clear all it helped me clear the mental debris that I needed to clear, so then I could make decisions to build the business, move the business forward. But it wasn't easy, but it was always worth it. And I never felt judged other than by myself. Self-judgment.
Has that changed at all for you? Like the self-judgment, have you seen a transformation of that along the way? And has that made things easier for you?
Totally changed. Yeah. Like, I don't, so if I have clients cancel because they're sick, or just like, hey, I'm not going to see you anymore, I literally used to like, what did I do wrong? Oh my God. I don't stress over it anymore. If it's appropriate, I talk to them about like, hey, I really think you need this, but it just is what it is. I do not make it mean anything about me. And when I think of anything like, oh, I wish this was different in my business or in my practice, I don't make it mean that I am a failure or doing anything wrong, but it's more like, what's the solve for this? So, yeah, I haven't even thought about that. Overall, the self-judgment is not there. It's not there like it was. I'm sure it creeps back sometimes, but no, I used to live in it. And now it's like, okay, something's going to work out, okay, what's the next step here?
Yeah. And what do you think the benefit is of having less self-judgment? Like, are you able to go faster? Do what is the enjoyment level of your life in your business when you're not living in self-judgment?
I can just go. Like in self-judgment, you're just like totally stuck. Like it's like nothing. I'm just stuck.
It's just not a thing, right? It's just like, even if you have a
Nothing
moment of self-judgment, it's like no longer another entity living with you.
Right, I can get out of it much sooner. It is no longer another entity living with me. If I bring things to coaching now, it's not as difficult and there's not like the shame around it, for example, like in the beginning. But yes, being free from the judgment means I can live more in what's the solution or what do I need to do, or just in the being of this practice or the being of a therapist, or just the being of life.
Yeah, I love that. And I think too, when we're not busy judging ourselves, we find solutions, we find answers, and we make decisions, and we just keep things moving, which always feels better than being stuck and being without a resolution to whatever's going on. So, at least for me, which is great. Okay. I wanted to ask Deidre, if you don't mind. What was it so when you came for coaching, we're just going to remember way back, and you were like too busy. You were working too much. You had too many clients. Do you want to kind of talk about the win of being less busy but making more money than ever and what that journey has been like for you?
Yeah, I mean, I would say I came from a background like working in a hospital as a PTA, like in sort of my mental paradigm was if you want to make more money, you just work more, you work more hours, you work harder, you see more people. And that's sort of the mentality when you're a therapist. If you haven't gone through coaching or sort of managed your mind, I think that's the assumption is if you want more, you have to work harder and you have to work longer. And yeah, I was seeing, I mean, I've always had a private practice and I'm still pretty well connected, even though I'm out of the hospital system. And so my issue is not finding clients. It was fitting them all in and doing the work, and taking care of myself. But I was like spinning my wheels. I always sort of made the same amount. I always, if I wanted to make more money, I had to see more clients. And that continued until I got to coaching and making that mental shift and just taking a step back and figuring out how to have more by doing less, which is a totally new concept, I think.
It's been wild, hasn't it? Like it's
Yeah.
been a little bit difficult to accept that you could work less and that it's safe to do that and make more money.
Yeah, I mean, I think back to all the times that I never wanted to know my money story or know the specifics of my bank account, because at the end of the year, all the effort that I would put in before I did coaching or as a PTA, I was maybe making like $55,000 a year. And that culmination of that moment of like what I made for the year would just depress the shit out of me because it wasn't worth it.
Yeah.
It wasn't worth time.
It's almost like you get punished for doing so much work.
Yeah. And it's like, oh, this is all I made and I'm exhausted and it's February. So that I think was the biggest shift for me is it doesn't have to be hard. You don't have to work long hours. And that's the wheel we get on when we work in healthcare is, oh, more is going to get you more, but that's actually not true. And so, yeah, just taking a step back, managing my mind, really like it never even occurred to me to raise my rate. Like, are you kidding me? Like charge more money and that seems so stupid to not realize that. I mean, it seems so abundantly clear now, but before coaching, I just never would have thought like, oh, I should just charge my clients more money. It was always like, oh, I'm just going to see more clients. Never, oh, I'm going to make my clients pay more. So that was a huge paradigm shift for me. And then really, I think when you're a therapist, this is not just therapists, it's like a lot of people, when you feel undervalued or you feel like you want more, you really start glossing over your finances. At least that was for me. Like, you don't want to know the specifics. And knowing your money story, being really clear and not being emotionally attached to the numbers is another freedom that you get from coaching, I think. So, and then just having the confidence in your work to raise the rate and work through all of that, it's transformed my life. Absolutely. In 2 years. And I've been doing this for 27 years, 28 years in April. So it's not enough to be like a skilled therapist, because that part I think can come easier than the mental work that you have to do around being confident, wanting more, not feeling like you have to give it all away. And telling people what they need to hear and building clients and not being afraid to be like, maybe that client isn't for me. Maybe this is not who I need to be working on. And that was another thing, another paradigm shift of like finding your best fit client. You don't have to work on everybody. You don't have to seek everybody to make the money that you want to make to be happy in your life.
Yeah. Let's talk about that a little bit. I think especially like for you, Deidre and Tracy, you guys both had established practices when you came to coaching. I know, Tracy, you had moved across the country, but you had clients, right? And you were working with someone else. What was like that like for you to have established clients and then also to join coaching and then be like, and I'm going to do a major rate increase? You know, what were some of the fears around losing clients and all of those things that you were able to get through? Like, what was your biggest fear about that, I guess?
Yeah, I mean, I guess for me, I had a lot. I had clients that I'd had for the whole time. Like, I had one client 26 years, every week, 26 years. I mean, I've had a lot of clients that I've had for many, many, many years. And it's really hard to be like, oh, I'm going to change it all up, because you're like, oh, I don't want to lose these people. You know, they're friends, or they're so part of my practice and my life. And it's so easy to just get on that wheel and just like not question anything, not look at anything. It's like a client, you're making money. It was really hard for me to raise my rate, and I stressed about it for the first time I did it for a long time, because it just like jacked up my nervous system. And it will, and it should, because it's scary, but it was all okay. And people, you just assume that people are going to be like, oh, I'm not going to pay that, but they will if they value your work. And I only want to work with people that value what I can do for them. And
Yeah.
And it was a hard lesson for me, that some people don't value your work, and that's okay. And I don't want to work with those people.
Mhm.
And
I
that's
think it was
not,
like a transformation for you when you learned that you weren't actually as attached to the outcome about whether or not people stayed or left. You were really attached more so after going through this experience to the value of the results that you were providing for your clients and providing those for the people that wanted to be there.
yeah, absolutely. I wanted to be the kind of therapist that actually helped my clients and help them in a way that was like so deep and so profound that it changes their life. Like,
Yeah. And not at your expense.
no,
like
not at my
physically,
expense.
emotionally. Yeah.
Yeah, and I think that a lot of therapists can fall into that habit of like, well, I'm a healer. I have to like sacrifice to heal my clients.
Mhm.
No, you can have a practice that is profound and deeply healing for clients who value you and be successful and make enough money to live an incredible life. Those
Mhm.
two things are not mutually exclusive. And that's what coaching brought to me. And it's
So
scary
good.
and it's work, but you're in a container full of 50 other people or 70 other people who are doing the exact same thing, who are very similar, they're doing similar work, all individuals, but it's a great place to explore this stuff and do scary stuff because you're not alone and other people have gone through it, and Heather is an amazing guide. So yeah, that's what it's brought for me.
Yeah, we can do scary stuff in here. We do it all the time. It's like, it's the best place to do the scary stuff. I love that. We're gonna have to have a t-shirt.
Okay. I'll put it in my book.
Yeah. Tracy, do you want to talk about your experience of raising your rate with client, with having current clients? And then I'll get to your question next, Colette. Go ahead, Tracy.
Let's see. Raising my rates. Well, I knew that, they're kind of want to move in this direction a little bit, in that I was like afraid to leave where the job that I was a contractor in and start my own practice because I felt that, I was, loyal to them and, that they were going to, be upset with me and I wasn't going to be able to work with the same clients. And I was leaving them and that kind of thing. But yeah, raising rates. Yeah. So I had to kind of get over that. And I just remember like the one coaching where like everybody came in and they're like, you can do this. And everybody was doing the math for me to decide like, to leave this job and go to my new job or to go to my business. I mean, and then I can do it. And it was just such an amazing feeling. I went to my employer the next day and I was like, I'm done, in 2 weeks, I'm out, and I was like, then give them 3 months because I felt so bad. So yeah, I got so much support from this group to do that. And felt the safety in order to be able to leave that situation where, I was successful and fully booked and, yeah. So I don't know if that answers your question, but.
Yeah, no, I think that's a good share. And it kind of piggybacks on this next question that we have from Colette. Colette says, I have a ton of clients, but can't see them frequently enough at my current job. I signed a non-compete, so I'm concerned about finding new clients and how my employer may judge me. How do I get okay with not worrying about any repercussions from them? So great question, Colette. I'm going to answer this and then I'm going to let people on the panel also give you some feedback. First of all, it's really important for you to get your facts. So how long ago did you sign your non-compete? Pull out your contract with them. If you haven't signed that, if that's like over 12 months long, or depending on the date of the contract, like that's really going to determine a lot. Also, we just went through this with someone else in coaching. They were having the same concerns and really, really worked up about this. I was like, go find your contract. Turns out the contract expires in a month and that the non-compete is only good for like a 1 mile radius. So it's literally not going to affect his life at all if he wants to start an MFR only business. So really figuring out your facts where that's concerned, and then not worrying about repercussions from your employer are the exact things that you would get coached on in my program. We would work through all of that. We would figure out like, what are you thinking about this employer? What are you afraid of? What is the worst case? We can do a worst case scenario, or we can just figure out like what's happening in your body and why you're afraid. And we gather a lot of facts and we neutralize these situations so that you can decide to take action. So that is how I would coach you through that. Who else wants to offer something along these lines? Have any of you guys, Tracy, did you worry about a non-compete? Genevieve, did you worry about a non-compete when you left? Because I know you left an employer to start your business. You were a little worried about what your boss would say when you left, weren't you, Genevieve?
I was worried. I I thought they couldn't live without me. So I took on so much responsibility over the years, like, and everybody asked me everything, and I was doing so much and overworked, and like Deidre was talking about, like, I'm looking at my paycheck going, seriously, like I take all this responsibility on. I was worried that clients that I met at the hospital that followed me that I would kind of get in trouble, but nobody said a word. And, you know, a couple people followed and it was no problem. But I was also like quite far away. But I told my boss I will never talk disparagingly about my former place, or like, you know, there are good people, you can get care there, you know, for physical therapy. And yeah, I just felt like it was really important, like, um you guided me through this, like, not to just set things on fire and take off, to leave in a good way, because I was so sad and upset, and I had to get down underneath the layers to figure out why was I so sad and upset, and I felt undervalued. And so I left in a nice calm way. I gave them 6 weeks notice and have a lovely, you know, see you later. And you know, that was really helpful, because
Mhm.
that sets your mindset, for when you
Yeah.
start your business. So
Yeah, you
I
don't
don't know
have
if
to
that
do
answers
any
the
of these
question.
things alone, right? Colette, let
Right.
us know in the Q&A if that answers your questions or if you have any other follow-up questions. And for anyone who is just joining us, if you have a question for me or any of our panelists or for all of us, just go ahead and drop that in the Q&A that's across the bottom of your screen, and we will answer that. One question I have for you all is, has there ever been a time where you wished you weren't in coaching, where you wish you just did it on your own? No, everybody's like,
That
no.
would be a no, Heather. A big no for me.
Just go ahead, Kristen.
I think it was interesting. Like I have not been in continuously since I started. You're still fine if you're not in coaching. Like
Mhm.
you can still run your business and you can still do your things. What I noticed, well, I noticed a couple things, and I really became aware of them as soon as I was back. Like when you get kind of stuck in something or over analyzing something, when you're on your own, it just continues, and you're, for whatever reason, you know, and when you're in coaching, you clean that stuff up fast, whether you actually get coached or you're just hearing it on a regular basis from other people. And it just stops that like murky thing that goes on in your brain about whatever topic. So yeah, I missed that a lot when I was on my own. And I was definitely a person that thought I could just do it all on my own and I didn't need to be in coaching very long. And the truth is you don't need to be in coaching, but the world is way better if you are, and your business is so much better if you are. And to speak to like the isolation, like I'm not isolated, but it's a solitary thing having your own business. And it's so fun to like just have everyone in the community and hear what they're going through and what they're doing, and just have that constant influence. So you don't have to be in it, but everything's way better if you are. And I was in the former camp originally. I was like, I'm just gonna do this for a while and then I'm gonna be on my own and not invest in it. And it's not just investing in one thing. It's like you're investing in yourself as a person and your own growth and your own goals. And when you start looking at it like that, it's like it's a no-brainer. And it does, I mean, kind of costs it to like change your life, you know,
Mhm.
and have be living the life you want to live and getting closer and closer to that all the time, you know. And that's, you get that all the time when you're in this container. You don't need it, but I don't know, maybe I'll switch on that too. Like maybe, yeah, you do need it, you know, and if you
Maybe
want,
you just want it.
yeah, you want it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, I want to speak to this one.
Yeah.
So I started coaching with Heather in July of 22, and I haven't stopped. I've gone every single round because I like to compress things. So if like I could learn all this stuff on my own, I think, but it would take me years. And so Heather's taken me from a side hustle where my goal was like 2 grand in a month to, you know, a year and a half later, I had my first 10 grand month in December. So, you know, I went from 13 grand to 68 grand last year. And now I'm thinking of, I'm not thinking, I am leaving my hospital job this
Wow.
year sometime, and getting my nervous system ready for it. So the coaching, I think it's super valuable to just keep going because I have these big dreams. And I'm like, if I want to get here, then I need to continuously be coached so I can get there faster. So yeah, I could probably take a break, but my brain's an asshole. And so, like, when I start making money, I need to get coached on that, because then I start to freak out about that. So I plan on continuing coaching because there's more that I want. Like, this is just the beginning. Like, it's really
Yeah.
cool and really exciting. And it's like, there's more. And my life has just gotten so much richer and better. And I can do more things for myself and my girls. And I don't, just to Deidre's point, I don't have to work as hard. Like, just because I want more doesn't mean I have to work harder. I just have to work smarter and figure out like the little tweaks, and then the coaching helps me get there. So
Mhm. I think too, it's been wild for me to watch your transformations. Like when you joined, you were like, I'm never leaving my hospital job. I'm a single mom, newly divorced. I've got 2 girls. Like, it's very important that you don't make me leave that job. I was like, you can have that job as long as like forever, right? And then I'm like, and you might decide to leave it. And if you decide, I'll coach you through that, right? We can gear up for that. Do you remember having those conversations?
you were always, yeah, because I never wanted to, and I never felt pushed. Like,
Yeah.
you were like, okay, but if you did want to leave your job, and so it just kept continuing, and then things at the hospital have just gotten shittier and shittier. And
Well, I
so
think your tolerance to what is
that,
acceptable and what isn't has
yeah,
changed too. Like
that
it's,
too.
yeah. But
So
if we remember back, like $2,000 a month was like a huge deal to you then. And now, and you work what, 2 days a week seeing clients?
yeah,
And you've had a $10,000 month last month.
yeah.
I just want to like sit in like how amazing that is, and how it's not just Chris. Lots of people in this room have had $10,000 months, are working on it, or whatever. And it's not always just about the money, but like to go from a goal of $2,000 a month, doing this as a side job, to $10,000 a month is very life-changing, especially for a single mom raising 2 girls who wants to be home with those girls.
Mhm.
You've it's like just been a pleasure to watch this. I hope you're super proud of yourself.
Thank you for reminding me. And
Yeah.
yeah, and that's the life I want to create, is being able to be home with my girls.
Mhm.
So, and being at the hospital 3 days a week doesn't allow me to do that. So this, I I get to dream again, and thank you.
Yes, so good. Okay, we've got some questions in the chat, so we're gonna just like pause our interaction and we'll go over to the chat. Um, okay, so someone is curious about how much you all charge. If you guys are comfortable sharing what your rates are, you guys can come off mute and just share.
I charge 170 for an hour.
I charged $250 for an hour, and it was really uncomfortable the first year. And
She
now,
did a lot of work to get there. Yeah.
yes.
Yep.
I'm at 150 an hour. I'm in Central Virginia, basically Richmond area.
Anybody else?
I charge $250, and then I do a package of 6 for $12.50.
I charge 175 starting January 1st, and I have a package that then the rate's like 150 if they buy a package of 12.
I charge 150 and a package of 6 at 800.
That's everybody, right? Yeah. So it really varies. And I love that everybody is so transparent with sharing the differences here. And so you can see that people have done various levels of fact finding and details to come up with these rates. So I teach you a very specific method of how to raise your rates. And sometimes I coach people to lower their rates. So it's very individualized for what your goals are and what your facts are. And also taking into consideration your ability to sell MFR at the rate that you've picked. So maybe you pick a rate of $300, but your belief level is in $100. We're working with someone who's kind of in that right now. And so until your belief level matches up with the rate you want to charge, you won't be able to sell it, plain and simple. If you
That
could
would
just sell, what, go ahead.
Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt. That was my process. I knew what I needed it to be from where I started, and I did switch it, and I couldn't handle it. My nervous system was not on board. I freaked out. And so I, went halfway between the two. And then after a couple of months through continuing to work through Heather's program and the rate specific information and how much you believe in yourself and myofascial release and all of those things, like now I'm at a place where I can charge what I want to charge for my personal bills and life and dreams, like Chris was talking about. But now I'm comfortable doing it. So it's okay to go back and forth along the way too.
Mhm. Everybody's also learning how to give themselves a regular owner's pay. And, there's people I've known that have had businesses for years and have never paid themselves or have only paid themselves their, the leftovers, right? The leftovers of what's left over. So, which is very common. Like nobody teaches us, oh, you could have a salary, you can pay for your retirement, you can have money to invest. Like, but those are the things you're going to learn when we work when we work together. I'm going to share with you all of the knowledge I've learned from all of the coaches that I've been exposed to. And it's some crazy stuff that has never occurred to me, but I continually put myself in rooms that are way out of my comfort zone so that I can learn things and bring it back and teach you guys what's important for you and your businesses. Did anyone else have anything to add to that? Otherwise, I'm going to go on to another question. You guys good? Okay. All right, so Amanda asks, she says, hi everyone, I'm an LMT and decided to only practice MFR now. I've been in business for 15 years. Wondering if this program helps with all aspects of revamping your business, like helping you set goals, help you figure out how you want to build a program type business. So I guess, Amanda, are you wanting to know how to build a different business than an MFR business? I'm not sure what build a program type business means. Or are you asking specifically about building your MFR business? We'll answer it as if it's specific to MFR. Anybody want to take that? I think Deidre, you were in business for 28 years.
Yeah, I did various things throughout the years. Like I started I didn't find John Barnes until probably 13, 14 years ago. And I was doing sort of a mix, I would say, of, myofascial and, massage therapy with some PT thrown in there. And I would say I became very clear about just doing MFR because of the results I was getting by doing MFR. And that's another little paradigm shift for me. And that's your choice. You don't have to just do MFR, but knowing what the work could do, knowing how to sell it, knowing how to treat clients, knowing how to evaluate clients, like that for me and this container totally transformed. And that's the magic, I think. If you want to be an MFR therapist, this container teaches you how to connect with your clients, express how this work makes so much possible for them. And treating in a way that's appropriate for each client, not just like, oh, I'll see you once a month because that's what you're used to doing, or that's all you can fit in because you're working so hard. Yeah, so I think that I learned that in this container. Even though I've been sort of working towards that, it was just doing that work of like, oh, I can totally treat my clients differently with MFR only and get way better results.
Awesome. I would just share personally, like I'm an LMT too. Deidre is an LMT PTA. I had a very successful massage practice myself before I went MFR only. And the thing that helped me most, I wish I had a coach then, right? But was making the shift and just making that decision to be MFR only and then going all in on it. And leaving behind, and like what made my business even more successful when it was MFR only was leaving behind all of the garbage ways we were taught to do business in massage school, like all of the like having tipping and making the client in charge of when they come back, and like kind of all of this bullshit that you're taught in massage school that sets you up to have a very terrible business model where you're not in control of how busy you become. So inside this program, you are going to learn how to talk about and how to sell MFR to anyone in any situation, how to overcome their objections, how to overcome your own objections, and how to set your prices properly. Because you'll see that it doesn't really matter where you are at in the world. You can charge what you want when it's based on facts and data. And as long as you love your rate and you know that you can deliver on the results that you're telling your clients you can deliver on. So I hope that answers the question. Does anybody else have anything to add? Everybody good? Okay. For those of you charging $250, where are your businesses? Cities, suburbs, rural? I think most of the panelists today are like in California, and then we've got Leslie's rural Richmond, Virginia. I've been to her place. It's out in the country. Genevieve's kind of out in the middle of nowhere. She's also in California. Deidre's in Madison, Wisconsin. Kristen's in the Bay Area of San Francisco, right? Tracy's also in Richmond. Percival, is that a very big town?
So Percival is like Northern Virginia, is like a suburb of DC. It's a small town, but it's located inside like one of the richest counties in the United States. Loudoun County has a bad rep, but yeah. So, and I charge $170 because that is comfortable for me. And I know that like Kristen and Chris, they live in a very high expensive area. Like, just costs a lot of money to live there. So that's one reason why we set our rates, is because like we need to pay our own bills. And then so we set our rates because we decide how much money we want to make. It's because that's what we want to make, and not because of Joe Schmo down the street, charges that. And I need to do like my market research and just depending on what everybody else charges. We've even had people inside of our container that like are within, probably like, 50-mile radius of each other that their prices are all over the board. Like one therapist might have a lot more experience, a lot more years of doing MFR, but they have a set a lower price of somebody who maybe doesn't have as much experience. So there's like that, they get coached on that as well. Like, oh, why am I charging more than this person? It's because you're getting coached and you're getting, that you are setting your rate based on facts, based on what you want to make. And there's enough people out there who will come to see you and they will pay your rate. And there's also like, if you start at a really low price point and you just, as a massage therapist, and you want to go to MFR only, and you start to charge more, the quality of the clients that you get also increases. Like they're more brought in, the results that they're getting, and it makes it more exciting for you as the therapist, because like they're more bought in, and they are willing to do what it takes in order to get the results, to feel better. So that's also exciting too. So don't be afraid to raise your rates. I mean, you're going to feel the fear, but if you're afraid of raising your rates, this is where you need to be in this container, because you will start to charge what you want to charge and what you want to make. So
and you'll prevent yourself from like making a rate increase by comparing and despairing versus like facts and data and like the confidence and the ability to charge any rate you want. I mean, we have a therapist in Montana that's charging, I think, of over $110 more than the expert level person in her same town. And she's killing it. It doesn't matter, the amount of certificates, like that's one piece of the puzzle, but the rest of it is your confidence, your ability to sell and talk about MFR, and your ability to gather your facts and data and set your price that way. Kristen, did you want some?
Yeah, I was going to add, Heather would say this to me, early on, and I've heard her say this to other people, like, it doesn't matter where you live. And I was like, I don't know about that. And I like to fact check her, and, I don't know, I'm just like that.
She has spreadsheets about things I say.
I like to know for myself. Like, I want to know. And I will say, when I did my big jump to a number I wasn't ready for, people didn't buy that for a while, and it's like, then once I believed in myself and my reason why and how to sell it and what they were going to get out of it, the way you're selling just completely changes. And I have people that pay my rate now that I would never have assumed could, would be on their list of things they would want to do for themselves. And it's a no-brainer. Like so if people are paying my rate now and they wouldn't pay it at my middle rate, that's not the outside world. That's me and my work that I needed to do on myself. And you see this play out over and over and over again with people in this program when you're kind of watching them and when they get coached on their rate or their belief in themselves or their belief in myofascial release. It's not the number and it's the person, it's like their own work on themselves. And we talk sometimes about moving or wherever, and the cost of living is very high here, and whether I change my rate or not. But it's like, I was just kind of realizing, listening to the last couple of minutes of this call, I could do what I wanted if I moved somewhere else, right? If I moved to a different state or a rural area or a different country, like, because I feel confident in myself and my reasons why and how to sell this. So like, what is the person getting from it? And that's what's underneath it. It's not the number and the location.
I love that. So true. So true. If everybody could just be like, what are you charging? I'm going to charge that. Then none of us would ever under earn, overwork, or burn out. And we'd all be 6-figure earners if it was that easy. So I just like to stress that it's not easy to raise your rate. I will make it as easy as possible for you, and I will support you through it. Okay, let's go on to this next question. This is from Michelle. She says, hi, I've been an OT for 29 years. Do those of you who are OTs or PTs find that your clients are resistive to paying a certain rate without submitting insurance versus LMTs who don't generally bill insurance? This OT does not want to deal with insurance when I start my own MFR only business. Who wants to take that? Chris, do you want to take it as a PT in here?
Yeah, I'll speak to that one. So, Michelle, I do not take insurance. And I haven't from the beginning because I don't want to deal with the bullshit. So the people that come to see me know that I don't take insurance. I will give them like invoices for an FSA. I have given super bills, but I've also let them know you may or may not get reimbursed for this. And it's on them. So they have to pay me first, and then that's their issue. So the people that are resistive to wanting, like if they want insurance, then I refer them to another PT. They're not really my client. It's the people that are willing to pay for their care to get better. That's who I see.
I love it. It's very simple, sweet answer. And Michelle, you can have this too. Pretty much everybody, I don't know anyone offhand that takes insurance other than maybe like auto accident insurance in our program. I think everybody has become cash-based. Lots of people come into my program really afraid about the insurance thing, and they'll spin out about that for a while, and they end up figuring out how to not take insurance and how to charge what they want to charge and how to serve their clients without insurance. And it hasn't been a problem. I hope that answers your question, Michelle. Tracy says, is there any training for the office staff scheduler, like what to say or how to talk up MFR? At this time, this program itself is dedicated to teaching MFR therapists how to run their businesses, how to talk about and how to sell MFR. Now, if you want to learn that for yourself and then turn that around and train your office staff, which is what I highly recommend you do, if you learn how to talk about and sell MFR, you can train someone else how to do it too. That's how I would recommend that you do that. There's no real quick fix or quick way to teach someone else to say what you want them to say if you don't know how to say it yourself. So you've really got to learn that for yourself before you turn that around and teach someone that's answering your phones. I feel like you'll be more successful in getting conversions that way. Your office staff is going to love you better because they're going to understand that you understand. You guys are going to be like on the same page with how to talk about and how to sell MFR. So that's what I would recommend. There is training inside the program on how to set up your online booking. There's 2 programs that I recommend, and I go into detail with trainings and offerings on those. And we do talk a lot about setting up policies. Inside my mastermind, we talk about how to work with employees, how to hire and how to train inside that. So that's a separate program. I hope that answers your question, Tracy. Let me know if it doesn't. And then we're going to start to wrap things up. So if there's anything else, panelists, that you guys wanted to add to the conversation, now would be the time to do it. And I just want to remind people that enrollment for this coaching programs is open now. If you've enrolled while you've been on the call, go ahead and tell us that you did. We'll shout you out and celebrate you, and we'll be looking forward to meeting you. Enrollment is open from today until February 7th. And this is like a groundbreaking time. We're going to hit 100 people in coaching at the same time. And you know how John always talks about the 100th monkey theory? I've been waiting for this moment since I opened my business, and it's very, very, very exciting. Well, I have coached over 100 clients by now, but like having 100 people at the same time, like we're making history right now. So I hope that you guys will be a part of history. I thank the panel guests for being here. And if you guys just want to kind of close us out with maybe your biggest win or something you want to celebrate, tell us something good on our way out.
I'll go.
Go for it.
I want to say thank you for helping me get clear on it's not about the time on the table, it's about the result. And I'm also talking to like everybody. I was leaving my office and some lady was like wandering around. I said, "Oh, who are you looking for?" "Oh, I'm looking for this person." "Oh, I'm a myofascial release therapist and this is what I do." "Oh, really? Here's my card. Here's how I can help you." And I would have never done any of that. So thank you for being clear, helping us get clear on our message. And my biggest win is that because
That's awesome.
I was a little all over the place. And anyways, I look forward to seeing everybody who joined.
Awesome. Thank you.
I'll say, I really appreciate that I don't overwork anymore. I was like clinically diagnosed as burned out like 7 years before I left the teaching industry. And so like it's changed my life in that way. But you ask really good questions. And one day you asked us like, what if your life wasn't actually your ideal life? You know, and you just put it on a number scale and like what would make your life like your dream life, you know? And so you encourage us to dream bigger than what we knew before. And then we have all these tools to start making it happen. And the things I think about doing with my life now are really different and much bigger than I thought before. And my confidence that those will happen is really high. So I don't know, it changes your life, this program.
I love it. Thank you.
I'll go. Yeah, I would agree with everything Kristen said. If you join the container, you're going to learn how to run an MFR business to the best of your ability, and that's going to blow your life up. You're going to just have a bigger life and bigger dreams, and you're going to achieve those dreams. And I don't say that to be like, oh, join the program, you're going to get it. It's really true. And my life is vastly different than it was 2 years ago. Absolutely.
Love it. Who's next?
I'll piggyback off that because my life is vastly different and than it was 2 years ago as well. And will be eternally grateful to Heather and to the people in group because I just don't think I'd be here without coaching. I think I might have a jobby. I think I might still be struggling to be an MFR therapist. And it was something that I wanted so badly. So it's kind of amazing that the coaching program, being in coaching, is what has allowed me to actually have some dreams come true. That sounds kind of cheesy. And I don't mean it cheesy though, but like I just the clearest I can be is like I just wouldn't be here without coaching. I might be somewhere, but my perspective on life, my mindset, the actions I take are so different. I mean, my husband notices, my family notices, my kid like talks me up all the time, and my kid thinks Heather is amazing. He's like, "Mom, I see such change in you," but
He did leave me a long voicemail once telling me how proud he was of his mom. It made me cry.
Yeah, it made me cry too. It is just really nice to be doing something that I love. And before I joined coaching, I was thinking about like maybe I should get a job somewhere. And I just was like so miserable at the thought of working anywhere. This is what I'm good at. This is what I'm supposed to be doing. And every time I would think about doing something else, it just felt like despair and death. And yeah, I just needed this to be able to do this. So I can't think of anything more amazing to get paid to do something in life that you would do for free, honestly. And yeah, so thank you, Heather. Thank you, everybody.
Thanks, Leslie. Who's next?
Okay, I'll go, Chris. I think that coaching has helped me to kind of dream big and really, see what is out there and what I'm capable of doing. I think that I've had a lot of sort of, thoughts of like hiding and being small and not putting myself out there because it was safe and comfortable. And now that with coaching and I'm seeing like what's possible and I am like pushing the boundaries, I'm like, pushing past my comfort zone and like figuring out like that I can succeed at these things. And it's just such confidence building. I want to do more and more and more. And I know that with coaching that if I continue on, I can do that. And I get the support that I need. So I plan on continuing on because I want to be able to travel. I want to like not have the money story of like, I can't afford this or I don't have enough money to do that. And I'm going to be able to one day be able to do those things and I will be able to afford them. And so I'm just like really thankful for Heather for putting yourself out there and, creating this container because I think it goes beyond just building our practice and like setting our rates and that kind of thing. I'm more confident as a therapist. I feel like the results that my clients are getting are so much better than I could ever imagined and dreamed of before coaching. And everybody in the container is just amazing. And take it away, Chris.
Thanks, Tracy. And we're going to close out with Chris and I'll have some closing thoughts after that.
So if you're in this call, then there's some type of calling for you. Like MFR is something to you that you're actually thinking of doing a business and making it your life. And so I'm going to say join because it is life changing. And one of Heather's new taglines, which I love, and we're all a part of this, is making MFR mainstream. Because everybody needs this and we're at the forefront. And so for us to be able to bring this out in the world to help people in a really deep way where they actually get better, they get authentic healing, but we're able to make a living and live our own lives doing it without burning out is freaking huge. So, yes, this is life changing. Yes, you'll make more money. Yes, you'll get to do something that you love and you'll get to live the life that you want that you don't even know is possible yet. So.
Yes. Thank you. Thanks, everybody. Thank you to my panelists for taking 2 hours out of your day and out of your very busy practices to be here. It means so much to me. You're going to help so many people. And like Chris said, like when you join a program like this, when you join this specific program, you will be part of the movement where we make MFR mainstream and where every single MFR therapist learns how to see 20 clients or less per week and make 6 figures or more. And that's just the beginning. So I hope you'll join us. Go to www.themfrcoach.com/coaching and join today. We'd love to celebrate you. And we saw, Jane, that you rolled in. So we're so excited for you. We're celebrating you. For everybody listening to this on the replay, enjoy what you've learned and then go and enroll. There's literally no benefit to waiting. And imagine what you create a year from now because you didn't wait and you joined now. Thanks for joining us. We'll see you next time. Bye-bye, everybody. Thanks for joining me today. If you enjoyed today's episode, please take a minute and rate and review the podcast. I appreciate it. For more information, please follow me on Facebook and Instagram at The MFR Coach. And check out my website, www.themfrcoach.com, for more information. If you are currently not working 20 hours or less and making 6 figures in your MFR business, I want to help you change that. Make sure you tune into the show and get on my email list so you never miss out on important trainings and information. To be the first to find out when we are enrolling next for my 12-month Business Foundations coaching program, get on that email list at www.themfrcoach.com/join. Inside this program, you'll learn how to raise your rate, overcome objections, and sell MFR. You'll become the MFR therapist that never under-earns and never burns out. It's up to us to make MFR mainstream, and it starts with you and your successful MFR practice. See you next week.